PRS. I admit I am caught up in this Pope Francis visit as he comes to America for the very first time. He's headed to the White House this today or last night, and then tomorrow he's going to be giving a speech in front of Congress. Then off to a papal mass in Philadelphia, and I believe he's speaking to the UN in New York. And then, of course, he's gone. It's a three-city, 6-day tour of Pope Francis. And let's not kid ourselves. It's religious, but it's also political. And some people are trying to make a political statement out of it, and some people are upset. But the man has dropped yesterday from Cuba and was all smiles as he landed on the tarmac yesterday. A rare sight where President Obama, the family, and a devout Catholic, Joe Biden, and his wife met a foreign dignitary on the tarmac. Sort of a rare occasion. Mary Bruce, ABC correspondent, joins us. Mary Bruce, some pretty extraordinary imagery on that tarmac yesterday.
Absolutely. It is certainly not every day that the President of the United States essentially goes to pick someone up at the airport. And that is what happened. The President, the First Lady, their daughters, all were there standing at the base of the steps when Pope Francis first arrived in the U.S. This is his first visit to the U.S. ever, and just an amazing sight to see. And I have to say, one of my favorite moments of the day is after he walks down that red carpet, Pope Francis's motorcade pulls up, and he squeezes himself into a teeny-tiny Italian-made Fiat. No big limo here for him, and it looked almost dwarfed by the size of those massive SUVs that are in all the motorcades. The President, of course, getting into what we call the Beast, his big limo, and there's Pope Francis in this teeny-tiny little black car. He rolled down the window, waved to the crowds again as they drove off, yet again underscoring what he is really known for, his humility. He's known for not liking the trappings of power, and that was a little surprise from him yesterday. He's also known for that, for keeping everybody on their toes, for not necessarily following a script. So we'll be looking for a lot more of those kind of signature Pope Francis moments as he spends time here in D.C. And on the East Coast in the next few days.
I think everyone's talking about that Fiat. He went back to the hotel, he got freshened up, and then today he's headed to the White House. What's happening at the White House today?
It is buzzing here. I have to say, I've never seen so many people packed into the briefing room. The lines are out the door, and outside of the White House, thousands are already gathering. They're expecting upwards of 14,000 people here on the South Lawn today. Everyone eager to see the Pope, to hear his message. And the Pope will be greeted with a lot of pomp and circumstance. This will be a formal arrival ceremony with the President, the First Lady, the Vice President, and Dr. Biden. And then the Pope and the President will both deliver remarks. In fact, the Holy Father will be speaking in English, which will be something which we don't hear from him very often. And then later in the day, the President and the Pope will huddle, just the two of them and their translators, in the Oval Office, discussing some of those issues that they share in common.
You have to pause for the religious aspect of it, but there's politics right smack dab in the middle of this. And while Republicans, some of them have gristled over the fact that he might talk about climate change, he also has issues with the Democratic Party and some of President Obama's policies as well.
Oh, absolutely. And look, I don't think they're going to be discussing too many specific policy items. There's no real political agenda here when they sit down, but certainly there are political undertones to all of this. Look, Democrats, I think, have the most to gain, and the White House certainly hopes the Pope's message may help to reinforce the President's agenda. The Pope is expected to focus on immigration, climate change, issues of inequality. But don't expect, the President to be pushing any specific policy items. They're most likely going to focus on those overarching areas of agreement. And remember, when you think about it, these are really two community organizers who simply have a great deal in common. One just happens to be the Pope, and the other the U.S. President.
In terms of controversy, any controversy brewing today that we should pay attention to?
There are a couple of little items. For instance, I think the White House has invited several members of the gay and transgender community to attend the event today. There was, some pushback from members of the Catholic community that may not be appropriate, but the White House insists, look, that this needs to be an audience that's representative of the American public. And so you will see, I think some activists here at the White House, but overall, look, this is a very joyous occasion. Again, this is not meant to be overtly political, and I think so far we have not seen too many protesters, everyone out here is simply very excited to get a glimpse of the Pope.
So he speaks today, and then of course the big day is tomorrow, where he gives a joint, a speech in front of a joint session of Congress. We have no idea what the man's going to say.
We do not. And remember, this is a pope who often goes off script, so we're going to have to wait and see. But he is the first pope to deliver an address before a joint address to Congress. Speaker Boehner will be welcoming him. It should be quite a sight to see. And in fact, one of my favorite little tidbits is that they've essentially been handing out to-do guides for several members of Congress to make sure that they are that they behave properly. That when the Pope walks through the halls of Congress, for instance, that people are not reaching out to get a hold of him, but are shaking hands appropriately, sort of an etiquette guide, if you will, for lawmakers. So everyone is very excited, getting ready for the Pope. It'll be quite interesting to see what he has to say tomorrow.
Mary Bruce, live at a buzzing White House, ABC News correspondent. Mary, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
626 here, Big 550 KTRS. Really, do members of Congress really need to be schooled in the etiquette of the Pope?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Yes, they do.
Don't bum rush the man and ask him for campaign contributions, okay? That's not what you do.
No, well, I was going to say, if this were Jefferson City, then they would
okay. If it's Jefferson City, yeah. Where's your envelope, sir? Drop it off in the corner and have your toasted ravioli and your shot of wine and be on your way, sir. just make sure the check is in the basket at the front door.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, I am really kind of excited over this Pope coming to town. And yesterday I watched all of the little morsels of him getting off the plane and getting into the Fiat and driving away, and he looked the image of this big giant man shoehorning himself into this tiny little Fiat.
Yeah, and Mary Bruce, she described it beautifully.
Right.
Maybe see
it was almost a clown car. Yeah. where the man sort of I'm like, how many people are getting into that Fiat?
First of all, his adornment.
Yes.
It's so, I don't know how heavy it is, but there are a lot of layers.
Right.
And for him to try to even get into the car with everything that he's wearing, I think is interesting. He didn't shut his whatever that would be, in the car door.
well, don't tell me this Pope doesn't know anything about capitalism, because Fiat is, as Mary Bruce said, an Italian car, also made by Chrysler, which is now foreign owned.
That's right.
But how much media attention and how much marketing is Fiat getting by him getting into a Fiat and then driving away from the tarmac?
I think they're going to do, they're going to have a little.
There's a little bit of
surge in sales.
A lot of people are searching those Fiat cars as the Pope car. Mm-hmm. All right, we're just getting started. And KTRS will bring as much coverage as possible to you. As much as we can bring to you, we will bring to you throughout the next couple of days, including his speech today or his remarks today, the joint session of Congress, and updates on the tour of his 6-day, 3-city tour. 628 here, Big 550.